All in Sports Network. We love sports.
It is Friday, September 26th, right here on your daily fix for all things Texas Longhorns, episode 270, my man. That's Jake Jimerson. I'm Tanner Carlson. This is All In Horns presented to you by Rogue Sports Network. Feels like we've been doing this for a long time. It's only been a year and a half, but 270 episodes, no small feat. I think a lot of people quit their podcast within their first 100 episodes. The fact that we've more than doubled that, almost tripled it. We're on a good pace.
Yeah, we quit our first one we tried years ago within I think like 20.
Yeah,
So
we and that one was tough, man. That one we did our very first podcast. If you want to try to find episodes, it's called The Fanboys. If you want to try to, they're still up on YouTube somewhere. You just have to dive deep into the depths of YouTube hell. But yeah, they're there somewhere. I think we tried too hard not being ourselves. We tried too hard to be funny and entertaining, and it was fun. Trust me, I had a blast doing it. It was just I don't think it was authentic enough. So, first time we've got sponsors. Shout out Underdog. But yeah, just a really cool feeling to be sponsored by an actual production network and things of that nature. It feels like we're coming up, and we appreciate all the support from everybody, all of our listeners and subscribers as well. Today's episode, Jake, we're going to be talking about the future schedule. It was released a few days ago, and we wanted to touch on it. Obviously, we wanted to talk on some other news in terms of like the recruiting front, some of the injury reports that had come out about John Mateer, DJ Lagway. Obviously, those two quarterbacks have an impact on Texas's schedule, and so wanted to kind of hit those news outlets before we hit on the schedule. But I do think the schedule is a fun talking point, and I'll bring them up in a little bit. But for the next 4 years, Jake, Texas has their SEC opponents, and I think what's interesting and what I like what the SEC did. I don't like the teams that they scheduled us against just because, well, they wanted to say, screw you guys, we're going home. But they alternated the years. So you're going to have very, very different teams from the first time you play your schedule to the second time you play your schedule in these 4 years. So what they did was basically we'll have a home and home with these teams, but it'll be in 2026 and 2028. And then it'll be 2027, 2029 when you have the home and away against the second group of teams, if that makes any sense. I'll bring it up and you can kind of put your eyes on it. And I know it's kind of small. Probably could have used a little bit better of a graphic with bigger lettering, but essentially, you've got Arkansas, Oklahoma, A&M. Those are going to be your three mainstay teams each and every single year. Those aren't changing. You're playing those three teams each and every year. Then you've got Florida, Mississippi State, Ole Miss as your home teams, and then you've got Auburn, Georgia, Kentucky as your home teams in 2027. In 2028, you flip it and you got at home who you had on the road in 2026 and 2028. So you got LSU at home, you've got Missouri at home, and you've got Tennessee at home. And then on the flip side in 2029, you're home and home. Who you're hosting this year in 2029 is Alabama, South Carolina, and Vanderbilt.
yeah, that 2027 year sticks out already. Texas also has Michigan that year. So they will play Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, Oklahoma, A&M, Auburn, South Carolina, and then Kentucky, Arkansas, Vanderbilt. That is going to be a gauntlet.
And again, we don't. These teams are going to be very different by then. But again, if history tells us anything, Georgia's going to be good, Michigan's going to be good, Oklahoma's going to be good, A&M will be 8-4, and Alabama's going to be good.
You can almost guarantee Michigan's going to be really good that year. It should be Bryce Underwood's third year.
Yeah.
Which is going to be an all-in try to win a national title year from an NIL perspective and everything.
Yeah.
So that should be a really tough year to get Michigan.
Diego Pavia will not be at Vanderbilt, hopefully, so that'll be cool.
Yeah, he might be. He could be in year 10 there by then. But
he feels like one of those players that will just extend his college career for as long as he possibly can.
Yeah, but But yeah, fun to kind of get a glance at what the future is going to be. I think that 2028 year is a really fun year for home games.
Yeah,
LSU, Missouri, Tennessee. I think that's just a really fun
Arkansas.
one. Oh yeah, and Arkansas as well. Which, by the way, next year they get Arkansas at home, so you get Arkansas at home back-to-back years. Arkansas fans may complain about that. They got back-to-back home games technically, by the way, in that rivalry most recently. And the reason they did that was otherwise Arkansas and A&M were going to fall on the same
That
cycle of
You'd be
home and
away
away.
both years, homes both. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know they were trying to avoid that. And then you have OU as a neutral site, obviously. So fun to get a just kind of a gander at the future for Texas football. And obviously, I can tell you non-conference, they're big opponents in these years. 2026, Ohio State. 2027, Michigan. 2028, Notre Dame. 2029, Notre Dame. So some really big non-conference games as well.
Do you know the 28-29 home and away for Notre Dame?
I don't know which is at which first now.
Which one's which? Yeah, because
And-
if
and
that
ne-
is
And next year,
2028 is at home, you get Notre Dame at home, Arkansas at home, LSU at home, Missouri at home, and Tennessee at home. That's a year to buy some season tickets right there.
yeah. And obviously, the SEC moving to the 9-game schedule. That's also reflected on this. Also means you only got 3 non-conference games. So, like for next year, I can tell you already, it's Texas State and UTSA as your other non-conference games.
So we have our schedule.
Which, by the way, Texas State, UTSA, 2 not terrible G5 programs. Texas State has really kind of been on the up and up, and UTSA as well. So,
Well, I mean, Texas State has been beating UTSA. So, I mean, take that for what it's worth.
Yeah. That's next year will be a fun year to have season tickets when you get, Ohio State, Ole Miss, Florida, Arkansas again, Mississippi State, UTSA, Texas State. That's funner than this year at the very least, because UTSA and Texas State are a lot better than a San Jose State or a Sam Houston State. So yeah, fun to get a glimpse at the future, and now kind of know who our SEC opponents are. We said 2026 was going to be. I was thinking, man, that could be a year where we get really screwed. Not too bad. I think Tennessee's going to be really good. I mean, Tennessee and LSU and A&M. That's a hard road schedule.
So on the road you got at A&M. I think that's probably the bigger storyline than us talking about the home games. On the road in 2026, at the very least, at least in conference play, at Texas A&M, at LSU, and Missouri is no big deal. That's to me not a
environment wise, no, but team wise, Missouri's a good program under.
Also, Missouri, is that game going to be played in late November, where it's going to be starting to get cold?
Yeah. And they'll have their end zone project done, so the environment definitely could be even better than
but
that they're working on right now.
Neyland Stadium scares the crap out of me.
Tennessee and LSU might be the 2 hardest places to play in the SEC environment-wise
in the country. But yeah, I agree. And so, like, it's just it's one of those things that it's going to be that's a tough schedule. 2026, I think, is a tough schedule. Now, you mentioned 2027.
You did avoid Georgia and Alabama, which is nice.
Which is very nice, but you get a lot of those middle teams. You don't get very many bottom tier teams, in my opinion. I think,
and you get LSU. They'll be replacing a quarterback,
and we might have the best version of Mississippi State since Dak Prescott.
Yeah, you feel like that program's on the up and up. I was impressed by Levy as well on the SEC show. I would not, and seeing their improvement this year, I wouldn't be surprised if Mississippi State's back to being kind of a ranked team consistently, where you got to play good football to beat them. For sure. Absolutely. And Tennessee, Josh Heupel has that program right where he wants it. I mean, he's got full control of that program. So he made the playoffs with Nico. He made the playoffs with Nico. Yeah. That tells me all I need to know about Heupel as a coach, because we know how bad Nico Olivia is as a quarterback now. Yeah.
Hey, Jake, let's go ahead and take a quick timeout, and let's hear from our incredible sponsors at Underdog.
Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the app today and sign up with promo code HORNS to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code HORNS. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks, win money.
A lot of great games this weekend, Jake. You've got the wideout at Penn State taking on Oregon. You've got Alabama, Georgia. Also a really fun game. I haven't really delved too deep into those entries quite yet. I will before kickoffs. I can almost guarantee you I will. However, the one that jumped out to me earlier in this week, one of the first entries that I place on Underdog, I think it was Monday afternoon, was this one right here. Jadarian Price higher than 61.5 yards. Jeremiah Love lower than 103.5 yards. I think that's crazy, no matter how bad Arkansas's defense is. But Taylon Green, I think he's an absolute stud, higher than 310.5 passing and rushing yards, total yards combined. I think he goes over 300 for sure against that Notre Dame defense, who has been struggling. Now, they could have a light switch game where they figure it all out and they start playing the defense that they played last year. I just don't think it's the same defense as they had last year in that national championship appearance team. So that's my entry. If you like it, again, promo code HORNS. And Jake, let's see what you've got.
Yeah, I went NFL, and I got Bijan Robinson going higher than half a touchdown rushing and receiving. Little Longhorn bet there. Almost threw Matthew Golden in as well, but couldn't combine him and Jordan Love just because they're on the same team. But Josh Allen higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns against really bad Saints defense, and Jordan Love going higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. I will be placing an entry on the higher for every single quarterback at 1.5 touchdowns against the Cowboys the rest of the season.
That's a great rule of thumb. It really is. All right, Jake, let's talk a little week 5 college football for you here. Let's go over some games that we like. We'll talk a little bit of the lines and of the teams that and games that kind of stand out to us more than anything. So right here off the bat, I think tonight's game, Friday, TCU at Arizona State. One thing that I do love about the Big 12, their Friday night games. What a great job. I mean, it's fun to have a decent Friday night game to kind of kick off your Saturday morning going into the next day. So I give the Big 12 props on it's typically always a pretty decent game, but I think this TCU Arizona State game will be pretty fun.
Yeah.
And I just think the Big 12 is fun this year in general.
Yeah, and Arizona State being 2.5 point favorites, kind of surprised at that line. Also afraid to bet against Arizona State in a game that's a must win at home on a Friday night for them. Sure. I think TCU might be the better team, but this kind of feels almost like, I mean, I guess Arizona State hasn't lost a Big 12 game, but obviously they took down Baylor last week in a very competitive, close game that was supposed to be really high scoring. Only ended up being 27-24, which isn't super low scoring, was very low scoring for what was expected in that game. I've bounced back and forth on this one. If anything, I may just bet the over in this game. It didn't hit last week, so it's going to hit this week. It has to. A 55.5. So I'll take the over there. I'll say TCU money line. I don't feel overly confident in that. I probably won't bet that. I'll probably just bet the over, but I'll go ahead and take TCU to win the game.
I'm taking Arizona State to win the game. And with the being a 2.5 point spread, I'm sure Arizona State would cover that. It'd be very unlikely to see TCU only lose by two or less points. Jake, a spread that I didn't get to see until literally just now. Florida State 6.5 points over Virginia.
Yeah, I almost wasn't going to bring it up because that line is crazy to me. Virginia hasn't looked that good, and they lost to NC State, who I don't think is good at all.
They've beaten Coastal Carolina, William and Mary, and Stanford.
And my Fighting Chanticleers are terrible in football, by the way, right now. And Stanford's terrible, and William and Mary is William and Mary. Yeah,
Is it Mary and William or just William and Mary?
I think it's William and Mary.
Not
Uh,
Mary and William.
no, I don't think it's Mary and
Okay.
William.
I didn't know if those were interchangeable, you know.
I don't think so. I think I've only ever seen it William and Mary.
Okay.
They do not go alphabetical order on that.
Gotcha.
I will be betting Florida State to cover that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Just
That
without
seems
hesitation.
that seems very
In fact, I'm going to place that bet now
you know
before
what?
that line changes.
Let's take a break here. I'm going to go on underdog and I'm going to go to college football. Let's see what they've got. Oh, so they don't have the team pick yet for
Well,
it.
luckily, sports gambling is legal in Kansas, so I
They
can.
do have outright win, Florida State to win, Virginia to win, but they don't have the line quite yet. So
I have placed a bet on Florida State to cover that right now.
there you go. All right, Jake. Let's see another game. USC Illinois. Illinois with a big stinker a week ago against Indiana, a team that I thought Illinois was going to handle with relative ease. This game means a lot less than I thought it was going to mean a week ago. I think USC takes care of business. I can't, in good conscience, take Illinois to win this game.
I will say I think this is going to be a pretty close game.
It'll be closer than the Indiana game.
Because I don't think USC has a very good defense still. I think it's better than it's been, but it's been so terrible that better isn't good. So I'm going to take USC to win. I probably won't touch that line. A 6.5. I just don't trust their defense. It's a 60.5 over under for a reason. Probably going to take the over, honestly. You got to run a fun over like that, which means it'll go under. But it's at Illinois. I say Illinois covers, USC wins.
All right, Jake. I'm going to take USC to win that game. In terms of the spread, man, that is tough.
Because Illinois is going to play better. They're
Yeah,
not going
they
to play
won't.
like they did last week.
No, they're not.
They
Unless
have
it's
any
just
pride whatsoever.
right. Unless their pride is so shot that their season's already over and they're throwing in the towel. That's the only concern that I have. That it's a, but I don't.
They have one loss. That would be crazy to give up after one loss.
Absolutely, I completely agree. Again, it's a program like Illinois. We've seen crazier things happen to better, more established programs. I'll take Illinois to cover, but I'm going to take USC to win that game. All right, Notre Dame at Arkansas, Jake. I think this is a really fun game. What a great game for the Arkansas Razorback fans to have to host this game. Notre Dame is 3.5-point favorites on the road. Notre Dame ranked at number 22, even though they sit at 1-2 on the season. Arkansas 2-2, coming off of a loss to Memphis. Taylor Green as the leading passer for either one of these two teams. He is the leading rusher for either one of these two teams. And Arkansas also has the leading receiver for either one of these two teams with Amarian Blake. 24 receptions, 326 yards, 3 touchdowns. So Arkansas definitely has the offense to put pressure on this Notre Dame team. I think Notre Dame wins this game, though. Everything tells me that Notre Dame should win this game. However, the stats are kind of pushing Arkansas to make this a much closer game than I think a lot of people are going to realize.
Granted, Arkansas hasn't played as good of a schedule as
Sure.
Notre Dame.
I'll get
that definitely played. But I will say, I think Green is one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC. I think if Arkansas was a good team this year, if they were 4-0, Green would be number 1 on Heisman odds. With the numbers he's put up, he has nearly 1,200 throwing yards, 12 touchdowns, 4 picks. He has 360 yards rushing. He has over 1,500 yards of offense through 4 games and 14 touchdowns. Yeah. I mean, he is putting up amazing numbers, and they have to. Their defense stinks, and their defense wasn't that bad last year. I don't understand how it dropped off such a cliff.
I think they lost just about everybody in the transfer portal, including Brad Spence.
I mean, they should have moved on from Pittman last year. I don't know if the buyout was just too much or what it was, but I mean, they given up 35 to Ole Miss and 31 to Memphis. They played Arkansas State and Alabama A&M before that. Not putting any stock into that. There's a world where Arkansas wins this game just because their offense, but I don't trust their defense. And to me, Notre Dame has more talent on defense to get some stops.
Notre Dame,
and I don't think many stops will be needed.
Right. So Notre Dame also has the ability of something that Arkansas does not have the ability in this game, in my opinion. Power run, slow the game down, limit possessions for Arkansas, take the ball out of Taylor Green's hands to the best of their ability by keeping the ball on the ground, 4, 5, 6 yards a carry. Arkansas unable to stop them in the run game, and they take maybe 2 or 3 possessions away from Arkansas in terms of scoring.
Yeah, so I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna take Notre Dame to win, but I am excited to watch this game. A 64.5 point over under. I might actually take the under in that just because I do think Notre Dame is going to try to slow the game down.
Yeah, but what a fun over it would be to try to root for.
I say that I'll probably bet the over for fun.
It's just fun. You gotta root for something in life, and you might as well.
Life is too short to bet the under.
That's 100% correct. Number 4 LSU, number 13 Ole Miss at home. Hotty toddy. Jake, this game has a lot of storylines off the field that we absolutely have to touch on. So Lane Kiffin's daughter, Kennedy Griffin, announced on Twitter and social media this week leading up to this game that she has a new boyfriend, and that boyfriend is none other than All-American linebacker for LSU, Whit Weeks. And had pictures of them loving up on each other. Someone obviously tags Lane Kiffin. Not that Lane Kiffin, I'm sure, didn't already know about this ahead of time. I don't know. The Kiffin family seems to be pretty out there. And they were like, I don't know a lot of things in life, but I do know this. Bet the over. Lane Kiffin then responds to that tweet and says, oh, yeah, take the over. Love it. Where else? But in college football.
Hey, it tells me Lane Kiffin is playing chess. He's having his daughter date him to get insight into the LSU defense and tear it up. This is Ole Miss is favored in this game by 1.5. My problem with that is I don't think it's a good matchup for Ole Miss.
Oh, I agree. I think LSU's defense is straight up legit this year.
I think LSU's defense is really good. I think they're a defensive football team this year. And I don't think Ole Miss's defense is that good. And I think Nussmeier is going to find success. And they're going to find success throwing the football in this game. I'm going to take LSU to win outright. I really hope Ole Miss wins. For whatever reason, I just want LSU to it's because I hate Brian Kelly.
It's Brian Kelly. Because if this team was led by Ed Ogeron, I'd be rooting all aboard the LSU train. It's the Brian Kelly effect. I can't stand him.
Yeah, and I like Lane Kiffin. I do. I get why some people don't like him. I like people that are
my favorite moment of Lane Kiffin was during the COVID year where he basically wore a thong over his face and called it a mask. And it was just like, yeah, this is enough. And it was just like a little triangle that covered like that much of his face. I was like, that's the Lane Kiffin I know and love. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you in terms of the actual football game. I just think it's a bad matchup. And I think Ole Miss's defense is bad enough to where it's going to make Garrett Nussmeier and the LSU offense possibly click and find something there. Whereas the defense for LSU is going to be able to make enough stops on Ole Miss. I don't see Ole Miss winning this game.
Yeah, I will say Ole Miss's defense, I know it's Tulane, but Tulane's a pretty good team, and Retzlaff had been looking really good. They did dominate that football game.
They did.
Last
they
week.
did.
Retzlaff was 5 of 17 with 56 yards.
Yeah,
Tulane had they had 282 yards, only 104 passing. I will say if Ole Miss's passing defense does well, LSU has not been good at running the football. Don't ask Brian Kelly that. He'll get real upset. But they haven't been good at running the football. So there is a world.
You've just been spoiled. Yeah, it's LSU. Did you not know what job you took? They've won every coach in year 5 at LSU has won a national championship. What year are you in, Brian Kelly? Oh,
Yeah,
that's
year 5 with a quarterback that you've already wasted a Heisman quarterback that took the freaking Commanders to an NFC
no
title game.
crap. They're spoiled. It's LSU football. What are you kidding me? Yeah. Okay, Jake, do you want to talk Auburn A&M at all? Do you have any takes on that? I was going to skip over it.
I don't think it's going to be a competitive. I think it's a terrible matchup for Auburn.
I just don't think Auburn's all that good.
No,
Period.
they had no business being ranked. It was a joke they were in the top 25, and yet Mississippi State's not.
Yeah. All right, Jake. Next game that we need to talk about. I'm just trying to scroll down here.
Tennessee,
Hey,
Mississippi State.
I just had it. Yep. Tennessee, Mississippi State at Mississippi State. Tennessee is 7.5-point favorites in this game. I'm taking Mississippi State to at least cover.
Yeah, I do think Tennessee's really good this year.
Do too. I do too.
I think Nico was the problem. And this offense looks unlocked in their defense.
Blessing in disguise for him to snake out on that program.
And everyone sits there and talks about, well, their defense isn't as good because they stunk it up against Georgia. A, Georgia's a good football team. B, they were missing, I think, 3 of their starting secondary players. And their secondary's what got torched in that game. So maybe that played into a little bit. I'm not sure of the health of those guys. It's at Mississippi State. I'll take them to cover, but I'm not confident in that by any means. Just because this is the toughest test so far for Mississippi State. Should be a great environment. I really hope it's a competitive game. I kind of like Mississippi State. I want them to do well. Also help Texas as far as just strength of schedule and just giving full attention to Mississippi State. No reason to take them easy. And so, yeah, I'll take Mississippi State to cover, but I do think Tennessee wins this game.
I agree. I think
Tennessee's an SEC title contender.
I think we might have already seen the SEC championship game played.
Those two teams have looked the best out of everyone in the SEC, in my opinion.
Yeah, we'll see what Alabama can.
OU is riding off of wins against an overrated Michigan team and an overrated Auburn team, and A&M is riding off beating a team with no defense. So,
yeah, I repeat those thoughts on Tennessee though, and we'll see how good Alabama is this year, Jake. This week, we'll get to that game here momentarily. Let's go to the Big Ten though. Number 6 Oregon taking on number 3 Penn State. It's a whiteout game in Penn State in Happy Valley. You've got 2 teams that I don't think could be more opposite, but it's a rematch of the Big Ten championship game where it was just a total shootout where we didn't know what was going on and why Oregon or why Penn State couldn't stop Oregon. Oregon couldn't stop Penn State. We didn't know if it was Oregon's defense was that bad or if Penn State's offense ended up being that good or whatever the case was last year in the Big Ten championship game. Penn State will be 3.5-point favorites in this game, where I think being a home whiteout game at night is probably worth a 3-point advantage in my opinion. So maybe a 0.5-point difference between the talents of these 2 teams. This one's tough. I can see it because I don't think Oregon's really been tested all that much, even though they don't look like
this one's
I don't think
easy
Penn
to
State
me.
looks that great.
This one's easy to me. I'll go ahead and pick what you think. Oregon. I don't think it's going to be very close.
Really?
I think Drew Aller stinks.
I think
Drew
whiteout means something.
I think Drew Aller's best game of his career was in the Big Ten game against Oregon as far as against a good opponent. He still threw 2 picks and he still only threw 226 yards.
You're making me want to pick Oregon now.
I just don't believe in Penn State. I think their defense is good, but
I believe in the whiteout, damn it. And call me old fashioned. I think it's a hard place to play. I think it's hard to play a good game in the whiteout.
Of course you do, as a straight white male.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm gonna go. I'll go Oregon. because I do think that they're a better team. I'll take Oregon. And you know what? I think in my preseason picks, Jake, I said I don't trust Penn State to win a big game this year. I think I have them with 2 losses. I think it's to Oregon. I think it's to
Yeah,
Ohio
what
State.
has Penn State done to this point to make
Not,
you think otherwise?
nothing. It just the whiteout. Anyway,
Though I will say Oregon looked a little shaky for a little bit against a terrible Oregon State team.
my thing is does Dante Moore show up or does he crumble? I don't know. We haven't seen
Yeah,
him in a spot like this.
I do think there's merit to picking Penn State in this game because a lot of people are like, well, what Oregon did to Oklahoma State's horrible.
Yeah.
And then Oregon didn't look dominant against Northwestern, and they didn't look dominant against Oregon State for large stretches of those games. So yeah, I still think Oregon wins, but I will say there have been holes in the Oregon team from watching their games, but they haven't played anyone. I mean, Oregon State and Oklahoma State are just both horrible. They're both winless football team. Or Oklahoma State's not winless, but they just lost to Tulsa at home.
They could be winless. All right, Jake. Biggest SEC game of the evening. Alabama at Georgia, number 17 versus number 5. Georgia is only 3.5-point favorites. I say only because I think a lot of people have written off the Alabama Crimson Tide of just how good and talented they truly are. I thought that was a nightmare of a matchup nightmare. My neighbor is actually an Alabama fan. And yes, he is married to his cousin. I'm kidding. But I actually don't know. I've never asked. Been too scared. But he is. We talked about it too. About Florida State, I think was just a matchup nightmare, and I think Alabama sleptwalk into that game thinking that it was Florida State from last year, not Florida State from this year, and completely caught them off guard. I do think Alabama is still a very talented football team and can go head to head, toe to toe. When they play their best game, they can probably beat anybody in the country as long as they play their A-plus game. That includes Georgia. That includes at Georgia. However, I think Georgia wins this game.
Yeah, I think Georgia wins. It's just whether or not I want to pick them to cover. I hate that it's at 3.5.
I hate 3.5 because it's such a good number.
Because I do feel like this could be a field goal game. I think Alabama's going to really come out with a chip on their shoulder, and that's a scary thought.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of tape on this Georgia defense that you can move the ball on them, especially through the air. And I think Alabama will find success offensively. Screw it. I'm going to take Alabama. I'm going to take Alabama to win. I think a lot of people are writing off Alabama because of that one game, and they have a lot of talent. This will be the game where if Alabama loses it, I won't believe in them the rest of the year in big games. Sure. But I'm going to believe in Kalen DeBoer and Alabama one more time. I'm going to say Alabama wins this.
I'm not against you, Jake. I'm not against you. Do you think we get an instant classic? You think we get another?
Why not? Why not? When is Alabama Georgia not a great game?
Yeah, it'll be a great game. I also believe that. So, all right, Jake, that's going to do it for today's episode. Those are the 2 highlighted games of the week. And then obviously the games that we mentioned before that I think are the best matchups of the week. And so for Jake Jimerson, I'm Tanner Carlson. You'll have an incredible weekend. Enjoy your Saturday watching all these games. Just because Texas is on a bye week doesn't mean you go apple picking. No, it means you sit down on the TV and you say, hey, look, girlfriend, wife, whoever, I need to sit down and study the Texas Longhorns opponents for the following upcoming weeks. So I have to watch Arkansas, Notre Dame. I have to watch Georgia, Alabama. We play them later on this season. And I've just got to do my job as a fan and scout these teams. So there you go. Out of wedding season, out of apple picking season, sit down and watch college football season.
Yeah, no, this is a great weekend to have Texas on a bye. We got Ryder Cup, we got great college football lined up. It's a perfect weekend. I'm very excited for college football Saturday.
All right, let's go ahead, wrap up the show. That's Jake Jimerson. I'm Tanner Carlson. As always, ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.